I know the winter season just begun here in Central Texas, but it's actually the ideal time to start talking about your HVAC unit or your air conditioning. I'm Sean Clinch, the host of Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast, and our partners and friends at Honest Plumbing and Air. They are the ideal group and set of people who will take care of you, because we all know our summers are long and hot, and if you think your AC unit is on the brink, right now, the winter season is the best time price-wise, because we're all looking for bargains. We're all looking for an idea to fit things into our budget. So give Honest Plumbing and Air a call at the number on your screen, 512-238-2058. Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something. Hey, the best to ever do it, and that's not arguable. That is fact. Nick Saban, well, he's calling it quits. We're going to dive deep into it. Let's talk about it.
Before you ask, you ought to see the other guy. And you know, I took one of the hardest hits of the entire game. And unlike some of our players who had to go to the medical tent, like I always say, they don't make them like they used to.
Nick Saban, done, calls it quits. And, of course, I couldn't think of anyone else better. Even though we call these little mini episodes Let's Talk About It, I had to talk to our guy, Stevie Lee.
What's going on, man?
On the pass rush. Man, I hate that we usually have a break, and we're doing these post-football season every other week, that being the pass rush with the guy, Stevie Lee. Man, it's good. It's just a lot happening for the middle of a week.
The coaching carousel continues, right?
God.
It's right back at it. But the biggest news, man, that's crazy.
That's Nick Saban retiring. And before we move forward, man, we got to give a shout-out to Hargrove Roofing. And Stevie knows a little bit about them. He sums it up in one sentence.
Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
That's right. We love the Hargroves. They're family to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Nick Saban. I mean, we knew it would have everything. Every good thing ends. Story of life. But were you mentally prepared for this whatsoever?
No, it caught me by surprise, man. I figured that Melrose had another year, right? He has. Well, what year is he?
I think he's got one more year. I may be wrong.
Year. I thought that he would go out with him, and they have another run at it next year. I mean, they were in the college football playoffs last year or this season, and have at least one more run at it. But no, it wasn't on my radar at all, man. When I saw the news flash, I was like, "What? That means I'm getting old."
I mean, look at this. 17 years at Alabama, 29 losses, 6 national championships, but 7 total as a college football head coach, one at LSU. And you combine everywhere he's been, Toledo, Michigan State, LSU, and Bama, it's almost 300 wins. I mean, and that's just, I mean, he surpassed Bear Bryant.
Yeah, and I don't think that you're off by saying he's the greatest college football coach ever. I mean, am I wrong? Or what do you think?
I think I'm going to go ahead and say ever. I mean, you can go back into the old college legends like Amos Alonzo, just some really good coaches that have Darrell Royal, Bo Schembechler. There's so many. It depends what generation you're talking about. There's so many. I mean, and I vouch to say that you've got to keep it to the college game. He is the best to ever do it, because in this modern era, to have the dynasty that he had, and someone could argue the dynasty was limited because there weren't as many back-to-back, but still to be relevant, nationally relevant, and relevant to the top 4 or 5 in the country every year. And even Mac Brown during your years, I mean, and Bob Stoops, I mean, there's been some great coaches, but since he took over at Alabama, and he did it at LSU, I mean, he took a break there to try coaching in the NFL level with the Dolphins, went back to the college game. But even when you were playing, what did you think of Nick Saban? Because he was at LSU when you were at Texas.
Yeah, we actually played Nick Saban when we played LSU in the Cotton Bowl. And we beat him. So I was never scared of Nick Saban, man. Come on. But Roy Williams had to go off in that game for us to even win that game, though. He really did. And then they lost to us in a Cotton Bowl, and then next year is when they went on to win the national championship at LSU.
And beat Oklahoma.
So, yeah, and so he always put together a great coaching staff. We know because the coach that we got came out from under his tree, and the people that are rumored to take over his position are most guys are under his tree as well.
Yeah. So naturally, we knew. I think you and I could have predicted this, but naturally, Sark is being listed as a potential successor. I'm just going to, before you get your feedback, Stevie, I got to put this out there. I don't envy anyone who follows up Saban.
Yeah, it's big shoes to fill right behind him, But for me, though, man, I don't see Sark or his wife L'Oreal moving back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I mean, you got everything you need right here in beautiful, sunny Austin, Texas, where L'Oreal can do whatever she wants to do here in town, or all the shopping that she needs to do here in town. They shoot down to San Antonio to some Spurs games, shoot over to Houston, shoot over to Dallas, and hang out here in Austin. This is from what they're going to be building here. What Sark is building here at the University of Texas. You don't want to go and start it all over in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I think it's down to two people. I mean, well, first off, let me ask you this. I'll say this. Dabo Swinney has to be one of them, and Lane Kiffin has to be the other. But what's going to be expected? I mean, what if they start having a marginal year where they're winning 8-9 games? It can happen. It has happened before.
Yeah. And you're right. It can happen. And, there are some good names out there for coaching wise. Right. And so, I think, honestly, I think this caught us by surprise, but I don't know if it caught the Alabama athletic department by the surprise.
Really? Hopefully
it didn't. Hopefully he gave him a heads up and you need to get a short list together, So, so I'm thinking that they may have something, and they may have some down years because like we said that those are some huge shoes to fill, and I hope they give whomever they get in there some grace. But they may get someone in there that keep the current staff together and just manage the whole team.
Cohesiveness. And he's leaving. It seems like he's left the program in a good spot. Back in the CFP, the great run they had, winning the SEC. It's not like they've, how Mac went out. He went out 8-5 that final year.
Yeah.
But my deal is, I want to venture to throw this out at you. Surely, this would not be released unless they have someone either locked up or seriously in conversations with about a deal, trying to work out a deal.
That's what I'm thinking. And also you release this when recruits can flip. You know, so these coaches got to be on the phone with these recruits. Is like, we got something, we got a plan, we got something under our belt. Just hang tight for a couple of days, and it's going to be you know what I mean. They got to be doing something like that, you know. So it's mitigating losses, I guess, and trying not to lose so many recruits coming to Alabama. But I think for me, it would probably behoove them to try to keep that whole staff together and try to just get someone at the head figure, you know?
Yeah, this is a seismic wave that has gone through the country in college football.
So I think tomorrow we'll start to hear about the recruits and what they're going to be doing. That some that have committed there and see if they're staying committed. You're going to have 1 or 2, 3, 4 fall off and decommit, or say that they're going to start looking elsewhere. But I think Alabama athletic department know what they're doing. I think
they
knew what they're doing by hiring Nick and giving him the money that he deserved, and also giving that staff what they needed to be successful. So I think they know what they're doing down there. Alabama has enough money for them to go out there and get anyone that they want. But they got to keep the team together, because this is a whole new deal where the players can leave now too.
Yeah.
You know, and go in the transfer portal. We're going to wait and see tomorrow and the next couple of days if there are even going to be players jumping ship now too. So this is the beginning to see what else is going to happen at down in Tuscaloosa.
Stevie, I want to say, and I got to go back and look because the portal deal changes. I want to say that this is kind of strategic if my dates are accurate. I think the deadline for players to enter the portal was January 8th.
Right, and you might be right. Oh, he announced his retirement after the date. That's strategic. That's the same thing Bob Stoops did over at Oklahoma after the kids after signing day is when he retired, you know. But anyway, I can get on a soapbox for that. But you might be right, but they can't. Doesn't it open back up after spring?
I can't. It's hard for me to keep up with it all because it's not that it's changing drastically as far the portal, just like signing periods. There are different periods, and this is the quiet period too.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, as far as recruiting, there were recruits caught off guard by this.
Yeah,
especially those who have not signed yet.
Right.
Or are being recruited at the moment. The other coach that's of note that Bo Davis came back to Texas, did a great job, had that big run on the bus 3 years ago, in Ames, Iowa, going back to where it all started. And his son apparently, I think, is transferred from Southeast Louisiana to LSU so he can coach his son. I can't blame him for that, but this is a bigger loss for Texas than people realize.
Huge loss. It's a huge loss. He was I think he's the best defensive lines coach in the country. He showed you by grooming a Outland Trophy winner this year. I've seen him in practice. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows how to relate to the kids, and the kids know how to respond to him. So getting someone in here that's going to, pick up where he left off. It's going to and our D line has big shoes to fill. It's going to be. We had some good backups, but losing Murphy and Trevondre, those are huge shoes to fill. And now we got to fill the coaching spot too. So, Sark. This is why we pay Sark to go out there and find them. You
got to find the next big ones, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate. I hate this because we're talking about an end of something great. But
yeah.
I think we all knew that the time was coming. Just did not expect that. I mean, do you even think Pete Carroll, who is no longer the Seahawks head coach after I think 14 seasons, even think that that's a possibility to bring him to Tuscaloosa?
They can, man. I mean, they got the money to bring him down there. You go from where did he go from? USC to Seattle. He went from LA to Seattle to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, man.
Doesn't
get
fit.
A change of pace, a good change of pace. But that could happen, man. But I also thought about my beloved coach, Coach Brown. The two oldest coaches in college football were Nick Saban and Mack Brown. Now Mack Brown is the oldest coach in college football. When is he going to hang it up? I mean, he did his time on ESPN, had a real cush job flying back and forth to different games and making appearances all over ESPN. And he said, you know what? I want to get back into coaching. So when is he going to go back to that ESPN seat,
I bet Mac and Sally finally, I'd say if it's not soon, it's within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I think Mac.
Yeah, you're 72 years old, man. You're 7 years past retirement age, still out there running around with kids at a high level, So
and recruiting and man, he just got it. And it's got a little swagger to him.
Yeah, he does. He does. I like seeing him when he comes back for his fundraiser here in Austin because he is Jordan Brand down from head to toe in the powder blue, man. It's so cool. He got out. Played his golf tournament, and he gets out of the truck with some Jordan 1 Lowe's golf shoes. And I just said, Coach, I wear a size 15, man. He's like, all right, I got you. I haven't seen those shoes yet. But yeah, man, Mac is the oldest active college football coach right now, man. So hats off to him, still doing it.
Yeah, I think that's big, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we've seen some greats. I'll be honest with you, I never did get to meet Coach Saban. Of all the greats that I've been able to interact with, I've never met Coach Saban at all.
Yeah,
never did. Did you?
I didn't meet him face to face, but he called. He called my house, trying to flip me and Philip. Philip Geiger. He came to Texas. We went to high school together, and we came to college together. I had committed to Mack Brown and the University of Texas around December of 99. It's like mid to end of December of 99. And then after the season, LSU hired him and he called the house right when he got hired, got the job. He called my house and I'm like, I already committed to Texas and I'm going to Texas. And he's like, good luck, Then I didn't know who he was, who Nick Saban would have come up to be. You know what I mean? Yeah, Nick Saban wasn't Nick Saban then at the time,
No.
But I told him no, turned him down, and stayed with my choice at the University of Texas, and still love that choice. Even though LSU won a national championship while I was in college, I could have been on one of those teams, and a lot of my friends was on those teams. I played against a lot of those guys in Louisiana. And I played with some of those guys on the D-line, Byron Dawson, my linebacker, Philip Maxwell. He was at LSU. Hester. You remember the running back Hester?
Yeah.
He was behind us, but he went to my high school as well. Then there was Josh and Abram Booty. There was Cisco Perkins. There was Robert Davis. All those guys are from Evangel. So we had a little pipeline from Evangel to LSU. And, Nick Saban thought he was going to open that pipeline back up with me and Phillip, but we came on over to Texas.
Changed it up.
Yeah.
Redirected the talent.
Yeah, exactly.
Pipeline to Austin, Texas, baby.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Man, it's it'll be fun to see how all this transpires. We've seen it happen, but we've not seen it by the best to ever do it.
Yeah, there's a big splash today. It was a stop what you're doing and see if this is true. And I got multiple dings on my phone. I was like, yeah, this dude is retiring. This is crazy. I don't know what they're doing down there in Tuscaloosa right now. But then I was telling you, I saw that they're celebrating over in Auburn.
Of course. Toomer's Corner.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's college football, man. You got to love it, man.
Well, speaking of the SEC, did you see the jersey that one of the recruits for Texas was on his visit, and they let him suit up in the uniform and it had the SEC patch already on the jersey?
Oh, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't see that. I got to find that.
It's going to add to it. So, I would venture to say Alabama there'll be some players try to bounce out of there because that's not the coach they signed up to play for. And
yeah.
They're going to I wouldn't say damage control, but they're going to do their best to keep it all together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Stevie, we'll follow it, brother. And this is seismic. Nick Saban calling it quits. I honestly think he's done for good, man. Hey, brother, I appreciate you.
No problem, man. No problem at all.
Hey, much love to you and the OG Man Cave boys and the Hargrove family. And whenever in doubt, it's always good to talk about it.